Thank you for tuning in to the 2025 Masters Crokinole Tourney semi-final round. This is a Tier 2 National Crokinole Association event hosted by the Queen City Crokinole Club in North Carolina. In this matchup, we have two teams who have yet to lose in the double elimination bracket. Humility not included, consisting of Darren Van Gammeren from the Buffalo Crokinole Club, and across the board from him, Jeremy Tracey Board's very own, and the 2025 Crokinole World Doubles Champion alongside Andrew Hutchinson. And facing off against them is Northern Magic, Wendt on the far side of the board, who most recently won both the singles and the doubles at the Crokinole World Cup, and partnered with him is McTague, also known as Magic Mike from the Extra Pint Crokinole Club. I believe the last time we saw him was when he placed third at the 2025 U.S. Open Crokinole Championships. This match will be a race to 9 points. The winner of that will go on to the finals. The loser will bump down to the lower bracket with a chance to get back into the finals. The loser of this match will be playing against Ehren Lewis and Trey Snide, aka Flick the Bean, who won their most recent match against Michael Barth and Chet Boehlke. Linder to open up, starting the 20s race strong, and we will go around the board until we have a miss. And there's a miss out of Tracey. Magic now to shoot, being able to play a bit more on the defensive with an initial lead in the 20s. We'll see what he does. Beautiful roll away. And Van Gammeren has 0 opportunities here. Not much he can do, but hit and stick in that spot. We'll see what Wendt does. Most likely to stay between the posts where it's difficult for Tracey to get much of an in. Coming in a bit hot on that one. Not a lot of opportunity here for Jeremy still, but play firmly in the 15 region now. Tracey pushing for the follow through. Doesn't get it. Back to Magic. Absolutely dialed in on that roll away, this time catching a post, ending up well behind there. Tricky shot for Van Gammeren. We'll see if he breaks under the pressure. He does not. Nice get from Van Gammeren. We're seeing this game of cat and mouse. Wendt and Magic. Really Magic doing a great job keeping it on the outside. Linder coming in this time. This is a lot more 20 friendly than the last time. See what Tracey does. Nearly gets it, but comes up a little bit short. Now, I'm not convinced that Magic will roll away a third time. He certainly could to the far side to keep Van Gammeren lost on the outside of the board. He could also drop a 20 here. Goes for the roll away in here, Linder. Very happy with that. I think that's what Magic was going for, and yeah, absolutely nothing that Darren can do there. At the very least, easy access to it. You hear Linder asking if there's any reason. There's sometimes you might just bump an opponent's piece and keep it in play to extend it on the outside. I don't think they necessarily need to. Again, Tracey and Van Gammeren do have the hammer, so if they can end with even 20 points on the board without getting 20s, then they can still tie this round. So I personally don't like leaving the piece on at this point in the match, but looks like that's what they'll do. You could argue it either way. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that was a bad shot by any means, especially with the placement that Wendt has that green piece at. It's going to be very hard for Tracey to angle back into the 15. At this point, anyhow. And Magic left with 2 options. He will pick the one that is harder for Van Gammeren to get at. Getting a simple off. Easy access for Darren, at the very least. But again, doing a great job keeping play far out. Linder again, considering which button is the best to go for. I think the one out in the 5 would be the best option. Again, really just jamming Tracey up. Tracey could angle off the green one and try to promote his own piece into the 15, and I think that's what he'll be lining up for. Nearly gets a 20. That is a beautiful backboard. There is no reason Magic shouldn't take that. I think up the left side of the quadrant or head on, whatever looks nicest for the off. And he gets it, now up 2 in the cup. Darren left with an open 20. Could keep them in this round. Very nice. Pressure still on, though. Only one shot left for each player. It'll be up for Tracey to bring it back in. Linder loses his shooter, though. Clears everything. This is the in that Tracey and Van Gammeren need. Tracey dials in on the open 20s when it counts. And Magic comes up short. All Darren needs is to demote that piece. I would say don't even worry about the 20 unless that's the easier way to take the shot at. He just needs the off. Demotion. Takes a 20 with it. The tides on that turn very, very quickly. And just like that, humility not included takes the first 2 points of this match. Tracey going long on his first shot. A huge thank you to the Queen City Crokinole Club for hosting this event, both in terms of Crokinole and competitive-wise. The tournament ran fantastically, and in terms of the environment in general, very friendly, lots of activities. They had many socials going on, so kudos to them. If you want to learn more about the Queen City Crokinole Club in North Carolina, you can check them out. Link is in the description below. Linder and Magic up 120 currently, and we are back to an open 20s race. Board seems to be a little bit slow on those open 20s. They aren't dropping as easily as you'd expect, which means we get more play on the board. In my opinion, that's more exciting as a commentator. I don't have to fill nearly as much dead space, but looks like the players are trying to prove me wrong, as there are quite a few shots around the board. Tracey and Van Gammeren waiting for a mistake out of their opponents, and Magic is not giving it. Now Mike McTague is from the Extra Pint Crokinole Club in Voorheesville, New York. I would say most famous for the U.S. Open. A very exciting tournament that I highly recommend you check out when you get the opportunity. Nice 20 from Linder, solidifying their lead. Even if Tracey gets that and he doesn't, Mike's going to play to the outside, leaving Van Gammeren with nothing. I think Magic's done a great job. Every chance he gets, he leaves Van Gammeren with a shot that he can't do anything with, which, one, in doubles in general is great, and he even gets a miss. And two, it leaves you pretty cold on other shots. I think if you have to keep shooting to the outside, 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 and then when you do get the opportunity for a 20, it can be a little bit tougher if you're not fresh and playing in the center all the time. Tracey looking at his options. He could angle in off the one closest to him if Van Gammeren likes the green piece in the 15 for a 20 for himself. It really depends if Van Gammeren likes that or not. Here the players discussing. It looks like Tracey will be going for that inside piece. Most likely because Magic would mess with it, given the opportunity. Tracey and Van Gammeren keeping up, but again, with only so many bullets left, they need some mistakes out of Northern Magic. Players quickly discussing who has hammer. It's easy for us to see in hindsight. Linder and Magic have the hammer. Jeremy with some friendly chirping. Gutters his shot. Interesting. I like it, because again, we're leaving Van Gammeren on the outside, not giving him a chance to play to the center, not giving him the opportunity if he missed the open 20. That's what Tracey was talking about. And I know Magic can hit open 20s. Tracey knows he can hit open 20s. But strategically, that was very, very smart, because now even Tracey is stranded on the outside, having to work. Comes a bit too close to the center. Magic is definitely taking this. No troughs on this shot. Doesn't convert. Oh, looking at the board. Doesn't matter. Even with this 20, it's not enough for Van Gammeren to get the team back into the round. Northern Magic will be going on the scoreboard, bringing it up 2-2 now. We are all tied up as we head into the third round. Magic to open up. Tracey with the hammer, going long. Easy touch 20 opportunity here for Van Gammeren. Very nice shot. My memory serves me correctly. Van Gammeren was the 2024 Columbus Singles Champion. He also placed top 4 in the first ever Windsor Crokinole Tourney that was included in the National Crokinole Association Tour. And he played some tough matches. He played Carfiello in the semifinal and gave him a good run for his money. And we've seen him near the top ever since. He placed third in World Crokinole doubles with Brandon Osborne, which I can't believe I forgot to mention that last time I was doing commentary. A double here for Van Gammeren now. Opts for the single, but he gets the hide. Very nice spot. Tricky for Linder. He can go through that diagonal lane at the very least. It's going to be very slight. Loses his shooter. Tracey and Van Gammeren up in the 20 right now with Hammer. Tracey definitely keeping it out. Beautiful. Nothing for Magic to work with here. All he can really do is hit the piece. Preferably keep his shooter on. Not let Van Gammeren get another open 20. Van Gammeren to touch the piece from the outside. He doesn't want playing the 15. And he executes that beautifully, staying between the posts. The issue is if you don't land that right, you're leaving a relatively easy angle in for your opponent. But not in this case, as he got that right on the line. Linder unable to bring it in. Tracey again, going for the hide. Very nice. Certainly has to go through Hogan's. Might be able to catch a post here. Linder discussing with his partner that, yeah, it might not be the 20. Magic points out 2 posts that he wants to catch, which is ambitious to say the least, but he didn't get his name for nothing. Unable to get it this time, though. And Van Gammeren left with the open 20 opportunity. Again, comes up short. That's what I was saying. The open 20s really aren't dropping in this match, which really puts the pressure on, especially when you get to those cold open 20 opportunities. I know some people have discussed the idea of just shooting Conrads when you're left with that, which I think, especially on a slow board like this, could be beneficial. But again, if you're on with your open 20s, there's no reason to. If you don't practice that, you probably shouldn't. And I don't think either of these players really practice the Conrad. I could be wrong about that, but from how they're playing, I don't think that's the case. But we're seeing, again, Van Gammeren, it just slides up short. It's online, but it doesn't drop. On the upside, Linder doesn't have a super great line at this. Doesn't get it. Heavy hanger opportunity. Passed back to Tracey. He nails it. Now up 2 in the cup. Magic needs to convert. Magic and Linder need to convert their next 2 shots if they want a chance at tying this. And that's assuming they're... Yeah, that assumes Van Gammeren and Tracey don't drop another 20 of their own. But at this point, Van Gammeren could just gutter this shot. The risk of him accidentally dropping a 20 for the opponents is... it's slim, but it's not none. As long as he clears that out, they should be good to win this round. BEA, beautiful. Mathematically not out of it, but statistically very, very out of it. Yeah, I'm not even sure Tracey will shoot. He might just take a piece off on the outside. A laugh around the board. Tracey and Van Gammeren with the round sealed will be going up 4-2. And while the players reset, this is a National Crokinole Association event, Tier 2, as part of the 2025-26 NCAA season. If you want to learn more about upcoming events that you can tune into or even attend, or how your favorite players are doing in the standings, you can check that all out at nationalcrokinoleassociation.com. Link is in the description below. Linder converted a 20 on his first shot. Jeremy also missing on the open. Magic could go for the 20 here and really solidify their lead. He could also keep it on the outside and leave that shot for Linder. I think they're going to get that 20 either way. It's not really a matter of if, it's when. I shouldn't say that. Anything is possible. But I believe in Magic. He nails it. Going up 2 in the cup, Van Gammeren left with an open 20. Nails it. They're back. You hear them say. They know they've been a little bit off, and they found the range there. Tracey needs to angle in, though. They're still down in the cup. They're also playing against the hammer, so they really, really need to play some catch-up here. Tracey goes for it, well off on his line, going into the trough. Magic comes up short. Hanger opportunity here for Van Gammeren. Doesn't get it. An unfortunate shot there as Linder about to get 2 pieces on the board. Jams Jeremy up pretty nicely. I'm not convinced. He might be able to get in from the outside, going to the far right of his quadrant and angling in, but it's tough.
You looking at a double, or?
And you hear Van Gammeren asking about a double. No response from Jeremy. I'm going to assume yes! He got the double, but he lost the shooter, leaving Magic with another open 20. He nails it, finding his range. We are back to the open 20s race. Van Gammeren now finding his range. We will see who is the first to miss out of these players. Tracey lining up for his 20. We'll see if he has found his range. He has. I think we are getting into a groove here. And commentator's curse. Magic coming up a little bit short. This is a tricky conversion. We'll see what Van Gammeren's able to do with this. A little bit over halfway through the bullets, and they're down in the cup against the hammer. I figure he's going for the 20. He nails it. Very nice. All Tracey and Van Gammeren need to do is get another mistake out of their opponents. And there it is. Wendt comes up short. Tracey now really looking to convert here. Not able. He loses his piece, and more importantly, that green is still on the board, which could turn out to be costly with Magic draining that 20, leaving Van Gammeren to work back to the center. Yeah, Van Gammeren needs to angle in. On the upside, Van Gammeren loves his angle in 20s, but it's not a clean line. You see Tracey pointing out a post. He doesn't ask for much, just an angle in, post 20 from the 5. Nearly got it straight on, but a little bit short. Linder could roll away, and I'm not sure what he's lining up for here. He could either roll away or put the nail in the coffin in this round with the 20. If he gets a 20, that's wraps. A roll away could be pretty effective too. Very nice spot. Not impossible for Tracey, but very, very tough. Door is slim. That does it. Magic doesn't need to shoot, although it would be pretty hard for him to drop a 20 for the opponents. See, yeah, he's going to shoot for it. There's no need to draw. Oh, actually, he practices an open 20, which, fair enough. It seems the players around the board have been struggling with that as we head into the 5th round. And we see Linder there. Like I was saying, the open 20s races haven't been super long. Linder starting with a little bit of a short shot, and Jeremy nearly drops a 20. You see him giggling about that. That would have been goofy. That is the nicest word I think I can say in this commentary. It would have been a goofy 20. Alas, it didn't drop. Magic going for a 20 of his own. A lot of action off the post, still in the 15. Van Gammeren and Tracey do have the hammer. It'll be Darren's last shot for this round. So they are very content to play some defense. Darren beautifully in front of that post. You see the nod of approval from Jeremy. That's cute. I really like that. It's going to be tough for Linder to get that off, especially with his own piece in the way. There is a very thin line that he might be able to get to the black piece from, going past his green, but if he hits his own, that would be catastrophic. Linder finds another line, though. Very nicely dealt with, and we are approaching a Brubaker situation. See, Magic right now has to play to the far side of the board. Then Van Gammeren goes to the green, one closer to Magic, forcing Linder to shoot to the far side of the board. They will want to get out of this as quick as they can. See, Jeremy considering his options. The only thing stopping the Brubaker is where that green piece is. They don't really want to leave pieces on at this point, especially because they wouldn't be able to get a double, would be the biggest issue, with the pieces so far apart from one another. So at some point, they will be trying to roll that piece outward, if they can. But for now, I think Tracey will be content to play to the outside piece. Very nicely behind a post. At the very least, Magic is not bringing that back in. I do think he has a clear line at it, so that shouldn't be an issue. He gets it, but loses his shooter. We are down to one piece on the board. Van Gammeren not quite able to get out, but again, in a horrible spot. I think Tracey and Van Gammeren have been doing a great job. I would say all the players around the board, honestly, have been doing a great job in the defensive department. That being said, Tracey needs to get the offs with those if he wants to do that. Magic going for a follow-through here, perhaps. Hits and sticks in that spot. I don't think there's an easy double for Van Gammeren here. At some point, Linder and Magic are going to need to make a 20, because if they keep going like this, it should be a win round for Tracey and Van Gammeren. I stand corrected. Darren hits a post. We'll see how costly that is. Very costly. Linder goes up in the 20. Tables have turned very, very quickly. Tracey and Van Gammeren will have to fight for a 20 in their final 3 shots.
Great shot.
Magic with a simple hit and stick, leaving Van Gammeren with not much. A follow-through, maybe a double here too, actually. Follow-through double. We saw Trey Snide hit a beautiful one in his match against Chet and Michael. So we know it's possible, but Van Gammeren doesn't get it. If Linder really wants to leave Tracey in a pickle, he will roll away here. Get the off and roll away, so he only has the 1 to work with.
Jeremy, you're shooting hammer?
Linder asking about hammer and Tracey not responding, so Linder turning to his partner. Tracey has the opinion that you don't tell your opponents in competition who has hammer if they ask. That's for them to keep track of. I'd like to know, what are your opinions on that? I'm of the same opinion, with the only counter argument being that you can figure it out if you count the pieces in the gutter, look at who has what pieces left on the table. So you're really just wasting time not answering that if you know the answer to who has hammer, so you may as well just tell them. But agree to disagree. Either way, 2 pieces on the board for Linder and Magic. Tracey needs a 20 of some sort.
If I get the off 20, if he misses, take out the win.
You hear Tracey there. If he gets the off in the 20, they'll be banking on Magic to miss, which never count Magic out.
Why did you say that? Don't be talking in my back.
The drop back is certainly there for Tracey. Hear the players laughing around the board before he takes this shot. He gets the 20, not the off. That could spell trouble. It all depends on whether Magic can get this open 20 or not.
Yes.
He drains it.
I never doubted you for a second.
Darren needs a double and a 20 here. Not impossible, but very, very tough. It's going to be probably an angle in, maybe. Although the angle in is going to send that way too far off to catch the green piece. So it's going to be a follow-through all the way from the 5. I think he was practicing an open 20. I don't know what happened there. Nonetheless, this video coverage is provided to you by Tracey Boards, the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championships. To learn more or to buy your very own boards, you can go to traceyboards.com. Link is in the description below. And by the way, those are the boards that they are using in this match. Magic with a nice takeout. Magic and Wendt are working with the hammer in this round. But maybe a drop back 20 for Van Gammeren here. Could be a little far. I'm suspicious that's a little far back. Nonetheless, Van Gammeren not leaving it in a nice spot for Linder. He doesn't necessarily want the 20 though. A simple takeout will do. And again, even though they're in the 15, Linder doing a great job not leaving it anywhere. What? Dad! Dude! I was trying to tell people how there wasn't a 20 there. Way to make your son look silly. What a shot. I can't wait to watch a replay on that. It's definitely going to be a trick shot, I think. Players laughing around the table. Pressure on Magic now to get a 20. Tracey got to get over himself there. Humility is certainly not included with at least half of this team. As Darren drops a 20, we're off to the races. It looks like Linder going long. Tracey and Van Gammeren now with a 20 advantage playing against a hammer. They'll most certainly be trying to get away. Tracey not happy with that, leaving something Magic to work, something for Magic to work with. All Magic takes his time here. Linder Wendt from the Minneapolis Crokinole Club. You'll probably recognize his voice. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it in the video until I'm done recording, but he has also done lots of commentary for us and for other people on competitive Crokinole matches. And if you want to hear more from Linder, we will definitely have him on again. But if you'd like to hear more, let us know in the comments. The more people that bug us to get other people onto commentary, the more often we'll make it happen. So with that, let us know. Open 20 for Van Gammeren up the line. Doesn't get it. See that they get the right amount of 20s in there. They do. Bit of a mishap with the cut, but it's all good. Players keep rolling. Beauty 20 from Linder. Tying it up. Bit of pressure on Tracey now to get an open 20 here. Again. Comes up short. Tracey shaking it off. Magic talking about a double here. They don't necessarily need it. I would think he'd be content with the hide. The only issue is to get the nice hide, he kind of has to tap that piece. And if he taps that, he runs the risk of dropping a 20 for the opponents, just with how that black piece by the center is positioned. So, gotta play this a little bit cautiously. Drives that through. Beautifully executed. That leaves Van Gammeren with what I think is best called as a really crappy shot. Having to go through Hogan's, and if he misses, most likely hitting his own piece. Looks like he sees the diagonal lane at it. There it is. Hits his own. Open 20 opportunity for Wendt. Looking to really make this hurt. Comes up short. Passing on the chance. Back to Tracey. Most likely to take this dead on. Think up the line is a little jammed up by that green piece in the 10. Doesn't get it. 2 pieces on the board right now for Wendt and Magic. In a great position to take another 2 points. Tracey and Van Gammeren certainly not out of this yet. But with that being said, it's going to be tough. Might bank on whether Van Gammeren can get back in the middle here. Actually, Tracey has one closer to him. On the very least, both the players have a piece close to them that they can work with. The bad news is neither of those are in a very nice position. Magic and Linder have done a great job putting those pieces in bad spots. Darren hits it, doesn't get the off. I don't know if he was going for an assist. I know Tracey likes the assist strategy himself, but more so we see Tracey do that than his partners. That's been my experience in terms of watching anyways. He really likes setting that up for other people and getting 20s for his partners. So nice double, but stays too close to the center.
Takeout's more important.
Linder saying the takeout is more important, but hey, the 20's there. I think Magic's going to drop it. It's coming. And I think a 20 here it'll be the nail in the coffin. Goes for the takeout. I stand corrected. Didn't go for the 20 with it. That being said, Linder is right. They didn't need the 20 there because Van Gammeren needs a double and a 20 to put any kind of pressure on Linder on his final shot. Gets a single and a 20. Very nice shot. Linder just needs something valid, though. Firmly in the 15 will win the round. And he gets it. Linder and Magic going up 8-4. Now within striking distance of winning this semi-final match. The good news for Tracey and Van Gammeren, at the very least, is if they lose or tie this round, they still go down to the bottom bracket and have a chance to battle their way back to the finals. Ideally, they don't want to make it to that point, so their back, in terms of this game, is against the ropes. They can't afford a tie, and they can't afford a loss. Linder, unable to convert on the 20, passing the opportunity on to Tracey. This is critical for him to get because they're down in the cup right now, and they really don't want to be fighting against that disadvantage. He drops it. Touch 20 to go. And Magic left with a bit of a difficult shot. Looks like he sees it from the outside. Could be a little toit. He gets it. Very nice. Van Gammeren looks like he'll be working with the inside most piece. Keeping it away nearly perfectly in front of that post. A little bit off to the side. It should be a relatively easy off for Linder to get. Very nice, keeping it in the 15. But Tracey with one to work with on the outside. Coming close. That's not where he wants it. Magic with an opportunity to pull play back. Keeping two in the 15 at the very least. And that being said, Van Gammeren, I guess he doesn't see any nice 20 opportunities because he's looking to pull play back off this green piece. Catching that post, very nice. Could be close enough for Linder to keep it in the 15, but he has one in his way for the ideal lane. It looks like he'll go through it, though. Feeling courageous. He doesn't get it. You hear him apologize. Not much to do about that now, except shake it off and move on. Tracey with an open 20 opportunity. Wipes its feet as it drops in. Going up in the cup now, halfway through the shots. And play on the outside. Magic needs to bring this in. Good push, but not enough. Van Gammeren with enough leeway to keep the play behind the post.
I'm just going to blow it over the hole instead.
Most likely, he'll be leaving Linder with nothing to work with.
Okay.
Ooh, doesn't get the off, and that's close. Perhaps wrong amount of power there. I think more so power than the line. Although, you could argue he hit that dead on. Probably the biggest issue in terms of not getting behind the post nonetheless. Tracey and Van Gammeren still have hammer, so this isn't an uncomfortable position for them. But Tracey bounces off that post a little close. If that green piece weren't in the way, this would be a semi-decent 20 opportunity for McTague. It wouldn't be a gimme, but it'd be there. But with his own piece in the way, it looks like he'll opt for a touch 20 up the right side of his quadrant. Doesn't get it, and that is a beautiful backboard 20 left for Van Gammeren here. Leaning to his far left. BEA, beautiful. Up two in the cup. Only 3 shots left for each team. I don't want to jinx it, but I think Tracey and Van Gammeren have this round pretty much sealed. I'm not seeing an easy 20 off that black piece. It's pretty firmly against the post. He could get it off, but the angle he's going for that posted 20. Leaving backboard for Tracey. He had to go for it. And that, if it wasn't sealed already, I think it's pretty much sealed now. As long as there isn't any disastrous mistakes out of Tracey and Van Gammeren in their final few shots, they should be good to take this round. We'll see how many points Northern Magic has on the board after this shot. Going for a 20, almost got it. They do have 40 points on the board, but that's not enough to make up for 60 points. 3 20s in the cup, above 4, humility not included.
They're down 3 20s though.
Yeah, Jeremy acknowledging they're down enough. Van Gammeren can play to the outside. There's really little to no risk here. He might be playing in, actually. Rolling out. Okay, nice. He could have hit and stick on the outside, but that works just as well. All Tracey needs to do is nothing. He could gutter a shot. It looks like he'll take one off for the fun of it. Tracey and Van Gammeren working their way back as they bring the score 8-6. Van Gammeren to open up this round. I'm losing track of what round it is exactly. I could do quick math, but I'm trying to focus a little bit here. So whatever round it is, opens up with the 20, passing it on to Linder. Also finding his range. We'll see how far around the table we make it before someone makes a mistake. You see Linder and Magic rocking the U.S. Open Crokinole Championship t-shirts. Jeremy Tracey alongside Andrew Hutchinson won the 2025 U.S. Open. They've been partnering a number of years now for that tourney. You know, at the very least, 2 years. They partnered 2 years for that. Maybe 3. Either way. Great tourney. Again, when the sign-ups open up for that, You should check that out. They aren't open yet, but stay tuned. We'll be posting info about that. Magic coming up short. An awkward backboard for Van Gammeren here. Very nice. Doesn't get the off, but Tracey and Van Gammeren up 220s right now. Linder could just take the open 20, but he's taking it at such an angle where he bumps back the green one so that Tracey can also get another 20. Very nicely done. Tracey doesn't need the 20, but it just helps that humility not included doesn't get ahead even more. So that was well played by Linder. Still some work to do. Linder and Magic with the hammer, but down in the cup. Magic could go for a 20 here. Could be a little bit ambitious. They could wait for a better opportunity to arise. At the very least, they want to keep playing the 15.
Yeah,
I don't want to really hang one though.
right, exactly.
You hear the players discussing they don't want to go for it and leave a good 20 opportunity for Van Gammeren. It's a high risk right now, and yeah, they can wait. They're not quite halfway through the bullets yet. We're getting close to it, but they're practicing the virtue of patience. Very nicely done. That's not close enough for a drop back. Tracey recommending the roll away just to leave Linder with nothing to work with. Very nicely done. Close enough to the post that Linder can pull this back, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. Keeping it in just barely. Tracey most likely to jam up the laneways.
Moving around.
Pushing in a little bit more than he would have liked. The 20 might be there. You see Linder asking if Magic sees that. We'll see whether he likes it or not. You could go either way. Some players would take that happily. Some not so much. It's not a skill thing per se. It's more preference. Some people just like that shot more than others. And it looks like he'll be taking this from the right side of his quadrant instead. Hitting and sticking in that area. I think he wanted to push a little bit more than that. Nonetheless, Van Gammeren again, just going to stay in that area. Rolling in between the pegs there. Very nice spot. Be awkward for Linder to do much with this. He'll be aiming for a peg himself. Yeah, you see him pointing. I love it when the players call that shot, because a lot of people think, oh, it's not intentional when they hit a post and go back in. There's some intention behind it. There is, you've got the line of the angle you want to take, and it's certainly not a gimme. They're not always going to hit it, but it's certainly deliberate. So seeing these top players call what they want to do before they do it, I think highlights, especially if you're new to Crokinole, just how good these players are, that they're lining those shots up. Magic, a beautiful roll to the outside. That could be a horrible spot. See if he needs a half hole. It doesn't look like it. Taking the diagonal lane instead to get at that piece.
Yes, sir.
And wisely so. If you don't have to half hole it, do not half hole it. It's always a risky shot. And with 2 shots left, Linder either needs to... He can't get in, so it looks like he's trying to roll over to where Magic can work with it. On his final shot, not enough. Tracey's going to pull this as far away from Magic as he can to not leave him any opportunities. You see Linder calling the post. That is their one chance of getting in, and it's such a tight shot. It could mean the win, though, which would be a beautiful win, but alas, not today. 8-8 now. Both players in reach. It could come down to this. Linder opening up. That means Van Gammeren will have the hammer in this round, what could be the final round. Again, the winner moving on to the finals with 2 lives in the finals. Whichever of these 2 teams move on, they could lose the first round of the finals and get to play again, because neither team has been eliminated yet. And the loser of the match goes down to the bottom bracket, where they still have a chance to get back in to win it all, but it makes it a little bit tougher. A few more obstacles going through that path. Neither team wants to be the bottom bracket. Bad news is, one of them has to go down. Play now on the board. a miss out of Van Gammeren on his open 20 opportunities. So Wendt and McTague leading in the cup. Magic getting the off, although might have opened the door for a 20 here. We'll see if Van Gammeren's able to get it. That's looking nice. I'd be tempted by that personally. Nearly got it, but not quite. Linder and Magic, though, want to get this to the outside as soon as possible. They don't want to keep leaving opportunities like that. That's a nice spot, that being said. Not much there except for a follow-through for Tracey. He could just try to push it in a little bit more. Not enough to leave an opportunity for Magic. Actually sticks in that area, leaving an awkward shot for him. Magic able to deal with that with relative ease, I'd say. And we're seeing that perfectly useless spot where he's really reaching for a post. Looks like he's just trying to park. Tracey and Van Gammeren also doing a good job being patient, but stays a little close to the center. This could be bad if Linder can get a 20 off this. Be really bad.
I think just hit it square, maybe drift a little out this way.
See what I'm saying? Hit it square. I guess they're not going for the 20s. Fair enough, but that is close. Tracey eyeing it up. We're getting to that point where it's go time. Nearly got it, just bounced out. Also didn't get the opponent piece off. Magic also unable to get the off, stuffed by the posts. We're getting a bit of a messy board here. Van Gammeren will have the final shot, looking for a 20 here. He gets it. No off with it, but he didn't hit off his own piece, which kind of interfered with the green piece going out, although I think that was more attributed to the post on that one. And Linder to go through his own piece to get a 20 of his own. He got the valid shot, but he didn't get the 20 to go with it. Very heavy hanger for Tracey to hit. Not sure if he loves it or not. He's going for it. Doesn't get it. Looking at the points right now, Tracey and Van Gammeren are up by 5 points. Pieces in play, 2 green in the 5, 1 black in the 15. Difference of 5 points, so a bit of pressure on Linder and Magic. Keep in mind, Linder and Magic are playing against the hammer here, so a lot more pressure on them to turn this around. The other issue is, with those 2 green pieces on the outside, it gives Van Gammeren and Tracey a lot of leeway to keep play out to the borders, where Linder and Magic can't do anything with it, and just take out the 1 in the center on their final shot. Which all depends on what Magic's able to do with that black piece in the middle. If he can get a 20 here, that would be amazing. That would put them in a really good position. Doesn't get it. Rolls out a little bit. Van Gammeren's best option is to just hit and stay out in the 5 right now. Rolls over a little bit too far. We're approaching the final shots. It'll be tricky. It'll really come down to whether Van Gammeren can get in off that 1 in the 10 or not. Or if they get a mistake out of Linder and Wendt. Linder and Magic. He didn't get the off. That black piece is still on the board. That could be costly. You see Jeremy talking. Yeah, that 1 in the 10, what I was saying. If Van Gammeren can get into the house off that 1, they'll be in a very good spot. I guess the answer was no, so Tracey goes for it now. Rolls out to the 5. It is perfectly tied on the board right now. I believe that means Magic needs to roll up off that 1 on the 5, because Van Gammeren will be able to make that green 1 closer to him into a 10 pretty easily.
And then they would win by 5.
Right.
So Magic can't just hit and stick in that area. You hear them talking about it. So either angle in for some kind of crazy 20, because if Magic leaves out on the board in a higher region, Van Gammeren just needs to get it off.
So unless it's a really good hide, it's probably worse than staying in the 5.
Okay.
So I think I mean, if you sink the 20, the game's ours. If you stay in the 5, Darren has to make a challenging shot.
You hear Linder say it there.
Those are the two options that I see.
That's what Linder sees. I'm not sure if Magic sees anything different, but it's either get a beautiful game-changing 20 or get a beautiful, beautiful hide where he can't get more. And I personally don't know any other options. This is such a tricky situation. Because again, the biggest concern, like a close one, a green one by Darren, I think with some work he could probably get that into the 15 as well. So Magic needs to do something big here. And I'm not seeing any easy double either where he goes across the board and hits both the black pieces. So I see where Linder's coming from. If he angles off that black piece and rolls over into the 10, where it can't be interfered with, then Darren's going to have a tough time. He can either get it into the 10 and tie or risk going into the 15, but if he hits a post, then he loses. So it really comes down to Van Gammeren's shot. The other consideration with that angle in is if Darren goes for that, there's a chance he hits his own piece off the board, that black piece in the 5 in front of Linder. So it could be tough. You see Jeremy pointing out the hit and stick off that 1 in the 5. That would do the tie, and they extend this another round at the very least. And we see humility not included, taking some humility, being a little bit humble here as they don't go for the crazy shot. And you hear the players congratulating Magic on a shot well done that really, it took away the win from them, essentially. At least in that round. We're extended another one as we're tied 9-9. It is sudden death. Whoever wins this round goes on to the finals. Magic really taking his time with this open 20, making sure he's content with the piece before he shoots. It doesn't drop. You hear Tracey right away. Get away. They don't want to play with the 20s. I think especially after seeing what Magic pulled off, they don't want to play. They don't want to play in the center. They're going to stick to their defensive ways.
I like that.
Let me see Tracey pointing out the laneway for that piece to go. He gets it. Beautiful shot. Nothing that Linder can do here. It'll be up to Magic to bring play back to the center.
Yeah, I'd stick it from there probably. They're going to keep it more closer to the hole.
Talking about a hit and stick here. But it'll all come down to what Tracey does with it. That's a little open. If Tracey were feeling greedy, he'd go for the 20. I don't think he is. He just wants to make sure he gets the off. That is awfully close to a post.
Okay.
So he might need to cut a bit of an angle. But ideally, he ends up right between that laneway and makes it really hard for Magic to get back into the 15.
Well, I'd love the 20. Not even sure we would love the 20.
You hear him talking about the 20. That is interesting. And not in love with it, though. Stays in that perfect spot. Angle in's cut off. Follow through is tricky. We'll see what Magic's able to do. Gets a bit of a hide. I think Van Gammeren will have to go through Hogan's Alley. I really don't think that's accessible from the outside there. Might have a diagonal lane at this as well. Very nice shot. And again, keeping Linder on the outside. Absolutely nothing that Linder can do here. But the hit and stick, keeping it right in that laneway. Tracey most likely to just swap here. Some kind of distraction in the background, having Jeremy reset before he shoots. Pushing into the house, you can see Tracey is a very expressive fellow. You can see he is not happy with that. That being said, no gimme 20s here for Magic. Not a huge blunder, but still more in than they'd want it. Now, this is a tempter. Tracey advises against it. He doesn't think Darren loves it, so he tells him to get out of there as quick as he can. Doesn't get out. We'll see how close that is and whether Linder's able to drop a 20 or not.
It could be. It's right on the edge.
Here, Linder, it's maybe. It could be, it might not be, and the risk is, if he goes for this, often that drop bag can just be a touch 20. He gets the off with it, at the very least. But back to the defensive. Now, good attempt from Linder, unable to get it drop. We are over halfway through the bullets now. That button is in a horrible spot for Magic. I don't see any kind of 20 he's getting. I think his best chance is to just keep it in the 15. Maybe a spot where Darren can't roll away very easily. Keeping it in that area. Magic and Linder not in love with that. Darren could just punch that through the house and leave Linder on the outside. The only downside to that is then Linder would have a hide on Tracey.
I'm not sure you can get in. Yeah. The other option would be just to give it a kiss, but then we're playing with, at some point we'd have to get a double to clean it back up.
Here Tracey considering another option of just touching that green piece so that Tracey isn't left stranded on the outside with the risk of getting hit on. But then they have 2 pieces on the board, so it looks like Darren is going to punch that through. Oh, no. Tracey laughing and telling his partner to shake it off. I don't think that's what he wanted. That is tragic. It is now tied up after that mistake. And we'll see if Van Gammeren's able to shake that. And that can be tough with the pressure on, so close to the finals, and dropping a 20. But Tracey has moved on. It looks like Van Gammeren has too. Tracey getting the off.
I don't know how true that is, but
2 pieces on the board. Might be a double. No double here. There is a post in the way. I don't think Magic needs a 20 here. We'll see what he does.
Great shot, Mike.
Where was that? Where was that dub? There was no double there. What a beautiful shot. I'm going to have to replay that as well, because I thought that post was well in the way. But Van Gammeren and Tracey are in deep.
The off-hide I've practiced, so I feel more comfortable.
Tracey recommending the off and the hide. Looks like Van Gammeren will be trying to get behind the posts here. Stays behind, but that's not really hidden. Linder should have an easy diagonal lane at this. Down to the final 3 shots. Staying between the posts, Tracey has a chance. Could be looking to bounce off the posts to go back for a 20. And it's time for that. Sorry, 1 shot left for each player. Not 3, I think I said that. 1 shot left. Final shot with Linder.
Purely a comfort thing there.
He needs to go for a bounce back 20. There is nothing else to go for. Lining up his shot. He doesn't get it. Ends up on the outside. And Magic jams up Darren. He does a decent job at that. Darren has to run this. It all comes down to this shot. Can Van Gammeren drop the 20? He cannot. It is all but sealed. Linder just needs to get the off. That button is in an awkward spot at the very least. If Linder can demote that, get it off, and keep his piece on, they will win this semi-final match. Congratulations to Linder Wendt and Mike McTague as they are moving on to the finals. Congratulations to both these teams, and if you love the team of Jeremy Tracey and Darren Van Gammeren, don't you fret, because they still have a chance to fight their way back. But first, they will have to go through Ehren Lewis and Trey Snide, the team of Flick the Bean, to get their way back into the finals. That will be the next match out, so make sure you stay tuned to see who Northern Magic will be playing against. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Crokinole content. My name is Garret, and as always, happy flicking.